She hadn't smiled in ages. After endless treatments and hospital visits, hope was fading, not just for her, but everyone around her. Until one day, she was taken outside into a garden we had just finished building. It was the first time she looked up at the sky and said, "I feel alive." That moment reminded me my purpose in life to create gardens. Welcome to Ecoscapes with Suraj Naik, the podcast where we explore the untold stories behind every garden we create. Hi, I am Suraj Naik, founder of Ecoscapes Landscaping. I've spent the last 16 years building Ecoscapes Landscaping, transforming bare earth into spaces that breathe life, peace, and meaning. But behind every garden, every stone laid, every tree planted, there's a story. Some are mine. Many are from the people and the projects that shaped me. Whether you're a dreamer, a doer, or just someone who loves a good story, this podcast is for you. And I want to take you back with me to where it all began. I grew up in Bangalore, more specifically in a neighborhood called Rajajinagar. It's right next to Malleshwaram, and for those of you who know Bangalore well, you'll understand when I say Rajajinagar had a soul of its own. It wasn't flashy or fast, it was calm, simple, and full of charm. The streets were shaded by old coconut trees, kids playing cricket in every crossroad, uncles reading newspapers outside the gates, and the smell of fresh filter coffee brewing from every other house. Those lanes weren't just roads, they were playgrounds, racetracks, and treasure maps for me and my friends. We had our favorite hangout spots, our go-to shops for ice candies, and endless evenings that stretched into laughter under orange streetlights. But my favorite place of all was my grandmother's garden. It wasn't a big garden, but to a little boy, it felt like a whole world. There were guava trees, curry leaf bushes, hibiscus, tulsi, and rows of marigold that danced in the wind. But what made it magical wasn't just the plants, it was my grandmother. She would be out there every morning in her sari, chanting mantras and speaking to her plants like they were family. I remember her gently wiping the leaves, trimming the edges, sprinkling ash and homemade remedies to keep the pests away. And most of all, I remember how calm and grounded she was when she was in the garden. That garden was her temple. It was her sanctuary. And slowly, it became mine too. Looking back, I think that's where the seed was planted. But I didn't realize it right away. For a long time, I thought it was a summer thing, a memory, a comfort. But there was a moment, years later, when I was helping someone build a small garden space, and I felt it. I felt the same peace I used to feel in my grandmother's backyard, the same sense of purpose. And that's when I knew this wasn't just a hobby, and this was me. When I told my friends and family that I wanted to make a career out of landscaping, well, that wasn't just easy conversation I've ever had in my life. Some people didn't get it at all. Are you going to waste your education in doing landscaping? Is that even a job? You're going to work with plants? There were eyebrows raised, doubts, and a lot of questions. But I had one answer. I loved doing it, and I was willing to work hard for it. Starting Ecoscapes was tough. We had no fancy office, no big projects to showcase, no team, just an idea, a vision, and a lot of heart. I faced rejections, clients who wouldn't take me seriously, projects that fell apart. I even had moments where I questioned myself if I was crazy for choosing this path. But then, one day, I got a very small project, a simple backyard garden for a family in Bangalore. I treated it like it was one of the most important jobs in the world. And then when we finished, the family invited me for a cup of coffee, and they sat down in the garden and said, "Suraj, this feels like home now." And that's when it hit me. Yes, this is what I'm meant to do. Landscaping has shaped me as a person in every way possible, which I never expected. It's taught me patience because plants don't rush. It taught me humility because no matter how much we design, nature always has the final say. It's taught me gratitude for the beauty in the smallest details. And in a city like Bangalore, which is growing faster than we can imagine, I believe landscaping has never been more important. We are surrounded by buildings, tall concrete structures, but somewhere deep down, we all crave for connection, not just with each other, but with nature. Even a tiny balcony garden can do that. It slows us down. It brings us back to ourselves. People often ask me, can someone be a landscaper without any experience? And I say, yes, absolutely. You don't need a degree to care about plants. You don't need fancy tools to create beautiful gardens. What you need is curiosity, observation, and a love for nature. So if you're starting out, here's my advice. First is that you start small, plant something and watch it grow. Second is you visit a garden, learn from failures, and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. That's where the magic is. And never stop observing. Nature is the best teacher you'll ever have. Today, as I look back from the garden in Rajajinagar to the gardens we now build at Ecoscapes Landscaping, I realized something. My grandmother didn't just grow plants. She grew something inside me. Resilience, love, patience, and a deep connection to the earth. She showed me that you don't need to be loud to be strong. You just need to stay rooted. And now, every garden I create at Ecoscapes carries a little piece of her legacy. If this episode made you think of your own childhood or someone who shaped your life, take a moment to call them. Or better yet, plant something in their name. Thank you for being part of this wonderful journey of Ecoscapes. See you in the next episode. We'll dive into something deeply I believe in. See you in the next one.